All right, so now that we have learned a little bit more about what timelines are and the fact that that is planning out your tactics from start to finish in a campaign, it's important to recognize these key questions. How much content will overwhelm my audience? You don't want to overwhelm your audience with too much information because you'll lose them in the message. Remember previously in one of my tips, I believe it was in one of the first marketing bootcamp videos, I said quality over quantity, and that rings true here as well. How much content will overwhelm my audience? Good. Number two, is the amount of content I want to distribute realistic or doable? So if you have a plan to send a mailer to every single resident of Staples and Motley 2 times a week for the next month or even the next year, do you think that that's realistic and doable? Probably not, because that's going to cost a lot of postage. And if you're a one-man show, you're going to be spending all day sealing and getting envelopes ready, and that's no fun. Is my content quality lacking due to my content quantity? That's important to consider because, again, remember quality over quantity. So you don't want to have too much content because then that takes away the quality of it. And lastly, how can I stagger my content to keep my audience engaged? So in the previous slide, I alluded to the fact that you're going to have a timeline on social media. You're not going to want to post a really interactive and fun post or video at 2 o'clock in the morning because you're probably not going to reach many people. There are specific times in which you want to go ahead and post things, especially on digital media. So some tips I have for you is, first, utilize the repeating inverted pyramid. So when you are constructing a plan, you want to go ahead and have a repeating inverted pyramid. And what this looks like is on this slide. So an inverted pyramid, at the beginning, you start with really exciting stuff, and then you go down to the less exciting or less important stuff. And you repeat this over and over and over again. So you're constantly thrilling your audience, and you're not just starting off with all the really fun and exciting tactics in the beginning and then getting maybe to the more boring ones. What I mean by this is if you're going to have a long-term campaign and you identify 3 or 4 really exciting tactics, like let's say a really awesome TikTok, or you're going to give away a chip clip to everybody in Staples or Motley, Minnesota with your brand's logo on it, or you're going to have 50 random winners of a $25 gift card. Okay. If you get all of those exciting ones out of the way in the beginning, all those exciting tactics, you're not going to keep your audience engaged and they're going to take your free stuff and go away. But if you keep them going back and forth and have your exciting tactics or your thrilling tactics with maybe some less thrilling or less exciting ones, they're going to stay engaged with you for the long haul. The second one is vary your tactic types at different points. So you don't want to just ambush all of your print media out in the beginning. You want to stagger that throughout. Same thing with your digital media. Time of day matters, and we'll talk about that on the next couple slides. Collect and utilize engagement data. So especially on social media, you're going to be able to export reports to see how many people are liking or sharing or viewing your content. Keep in mind, though, that isn't always the most accurate. And the last one is reflect and respond. So if something is or is not working, fix it and update your future communication so that you can better engage with your audience and your segmented or targeted audience. So I have a couple of slides here that kind of show engagement and the time of day when it's the lowest and the highest engagement. So dark means high, light means low. So you can kind of go ahead and see weekdays around the lunch hour tends to be the most engagement on Facebook, which makes sense because people who use Facebook tend to be a little bit older, maybe 20s and 30s and 40s, and they're going to be on their lunch break at this point. Instagram tends to be very popular on Wednesdays and Fridays, surprisingly not as much on the weekends, but highest engagements around 10 or 11 a.m. in the morning on those days. So keep that in mind. Twitter is pretty sporadic, honestly. You tend to see a pattern of about 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. every day. It seems to be the darkest colors. And LinkedIn is a tool that many of you guys probably have not heard about. It's more for adults and professionals and networking in that way. But on those Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays tend to be the more popular days for LinkedIn. So we're going to stop there, and I'll see you in the next video.